Hey all, welcome back to this video tutorial on application development using AngularJS and REST API. In the last video, we have created a Angular project and we got this output. Now let us go ahead and add things as per our requirements. So what first of all I'm going to do is I'm going to uh, put a logo here, and then I will put two links, login and register, and we'll create a login page and a register page. First of all, let's go ahead and copy this logo. So I'm going to I have this logo. You can put your logo according to your needs. I'll go to that project, and in the src assets folder, in the assets folder you can keep your images. So in the images I'm going to put this logo. So if you just see here, now it will reflect into your project. So in the assets folder, you can see the images folder is there, and then we have the logo.png saved in it. So now what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to go to my app.component.html, and here I'm going to create a div tag into which I'm going to apply a class called container. That's a bootstrap class, which is going to give us the alignment on the right side and the left side, and it's going to put all the components. And I'm also going to create a grid layout using bootstrap so that I can properly align my components. So for that I'm going to create this row. So class is equal to row, and that row I'm going to add two divs. Okay, so now what will happen is that first row will be divided into two columns. So I'll say class is equal to col. So how much width that first column should have is, I'm going to say 3, and the second column should have a width of column 9. So the entire screen is divided into 12 cells. So uh, that what I'm going to do is 3, I'm going to divide my screen into 3 and 9 cells. So now here I'm going to add my image, img src is equal to dot slash assets slash images slash logo dot png, and I'm also going to say height as 100 pixel and width as 200 pixels. So now if we see, our output should be looking like this. So there you go, right? And then I'm also going to have another row in which I'm going to show those two links. So div, and this time I'm going to say class is equal to row again, and then I'm going to put two more divs with class is equal to col 8, and then here I'm going to say col 4. So total has to be 12, and in this I'm going to add two button. One is login button and second is button register. And for that I am also going to apply the normal CSS. If you see now this button, it's going to look like this, right? So I'm also going to apply a bootstrap class to it. Class is equal to button dash primary is button type in bootstrap. Okay, so there you go, and I need some space between these two buttons. So for that I can go to this styles.css file, and into that you can write the CSS like this. So I have already have two classes created here. Left align class is going to put a margin left as 15 pixel, and top align class is going to have margin top as 15 pixel. So what I will do is I will apply these two classes. So you can create as many classes as you want into your styles.css, and that can be applied here. So here I'm going to apply a class called as left align, right? Here also I will say left align. So I'm applying three classes to this button. One is button primary and left align. So now with the left align, you see what is going to happen. So refresh, nothing has happened. So let's check whether we have left a line. That's correct. Oh, spelling mistake. A line. Yeah. So now there you go. There is a space in between. So now these are the two buttons. Now on click of these two buttons, I want a login form and a register form. But for that, I'm not going to add the form here directly here into this page. Instead, I'm going to create a component. So I'll create a login component and I will also create a register component. So what I will do is I will just create open the command prompt. I'll go to that folder Angular app, right? And then I'm going to add the component. So for adding a component, the command is ng generate component, and I'm going to put that component into components folder, and I'm going to say login. So it will automatically create a login component. So that's a command for creating a component. So now if I refresh this project, so there you say that components folder has been created, and in that there is a login folder. In that you have a login component. And then similarly, I will also create one more component. I'll call it as a register component. And what actually it is doing is it is also updating that app.model.ts. Means it is adding those components into the declarations array. So if you go to app.model.ts, it has added, so login component, register component has added into the declarations array. Every component you create has to be declared within the inside a model. So this component, these components have been declared into root module. So now, since I have these two components, let's go ahead and add the data into these two. So I'll say a div again, and I'll create a form, and I'll put a div tag, and I'll say label, enter email, and input type is equal to text, and class is equal to form dash control. And I'm also going to write a style here. Width is equal to 300 pixel. And this same thing I will copy and I will paste it here. And then this text I will change it to the password, and this type also I will change it to password. And then I will add two buttons. One is uh, type is equal to reset, and I will just say half of this width, half as the width. Okay, and this class I will change it to button, btn and btn. So btn is a bootstrap class, so in this type I'll change it to submit. Okay, so as of now you will not see that in the output because that component has not been added. But if you add a component like this, so if you want to put any component, you can simply go ahead and then add. So I'm going to create one more row here. Class is equal to row, and here if I add login component, so let me check the, so app dash login is the name of that component. So sorry, tag for that component. So there you see that, correct? And similar way I will create a login component. So for that I will just copy this code and I'll go to the components, register component, and there I'm going to paste all this code, and I will say this will be my name, enter name, then enter phone, then enter city, then enter DOB. So what I can do is I can put a date type here. So now let's go ahead and check. And before I check, I will also put the app-register so that I can see that output onto my page. So there you see, this is that login page and this is the register page. But one thing I don't want is both of these together. I don't want. So I want a separate form. So if I click on to login, I should see that login. If I click on register, I should see register. And for that, we can use the routing concept from Angular. So what I will now do is I'll go to my I will now go to my routing module, that is this module, app routing module, and there I will define the route. So how will I define the routes? In this array, I'm going to define this route. So the first one is uh, path is login. If the path is login, display this component. So component is login component. So if you use this content as is, the import statement automatically gets added. Otherwise, you need to type that manually. So again, I'll say path is register. If the path is register, comma, component is register component. So I'll just use that. So now I have defined two paths. I'll one more path I will define, which is path is equal to empty. If the path is empty, component is login component. So if the path is empty, I will show the login component. That's my home page. Okay, so now let's go ahead and see the output now. You don't see any output because this has been configured. This has been uh, statically written into this app.component.html. So instead of this, what you do is you use router dash outlet directive. So router outlet is going to display that component based on your route. Based on your path, that router outlet will display the component. So in place of this router outlet, that component will be shown. So there you go. So because the path is empty here, it is showing that login page. If I change that to register, it will show me the register page. And if I change it to login, it will show a login page. But I do not want to manually go and type this path here, right? I want to change this path on click of these buttons. So for that, what I'll do is I'll just go to this button and add another directive here, which is called the router link. So router link is equal to what is a path login, and similar way, what is a router link for this button? Router link is equal to slash register. So now let's see now. So now this is register. If I log in, register, and now it is working absolutely fine. There's no problem at all with this. Correct? Now, in the next video, we'll accept this data, we'll pass it on to the server. That is where we have the API written, and then we'll call that API and we'll authenticate the user. And when the user is authenticated, we'll display a next page, which is your home page. All right. So that's all we have in this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.